spaces or geographic boundaries. For mathematics, the cultural world is one country, says David Hilbert. Dignitaries on and off the dais, distinguished speakers, esteemed delegates, profound mathematicians and ardent scholars. A very warm good morning to one and all present here. With great delight, the Mathematics Department of Pondicherry University, Ramanujan School of Mathematical Sciences, is hosting the 22nd annual meeting of the Society for Special Functions and Their Applications, an international conference on special functions and applications, and a symposium on Algebra and Algebraic Combinatorics. I, Angeline Maria Johnson, on behalf of the faculty, staff, research scholars, and students of mathematics community of Pondicherry University, welcome one and all to the conference. The core objective of this conference is to bring together the researchers working in the core areas of special functions and their applications for interaction and exchange of ideas. And it will also inspire young researchers to pursue research in this important branch of mathematical sciences. Small cheer and great welcome makes a merry fest. Now, I am glad to invite the convener of the conference, Dr. Rakesh Parmar sir, to formally welcome the gathering.
On behalf of conveners of ICSFA and Symposium, Vanakkam, Namaskar, good morning, one and all present here. It feels immense happy to welcome you all for the 22nd annual meeting of Society of Special Functions and Their Application, an international conference on special function and application, and a symposium on Algebra and Algebraic Combinatorics. First of all, I would acknowledge our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh Ji, for his valuable presence in this inaugural ceremony of ICSFA and Symposium. A good objective of leadership is to help those who are doing poorly to do well, and to help those who are doing well to do even better. In that sense, his vision to improve everything better in this Pondicherry is such a blessing and privilege to all of us. His powerful words and actions inspire us to dream more, learn more, and do more. He is such a great role model for us and also to the younger generation of our Pondicherry University family. I am honored and happy to welcome our beloved Chief Guest, Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir of Pondicherry University, Professor Gurmeet Singh Ji, to this special occasion of this ICSFA and a symposium. We are so delighted to have you, sir. Leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. The leaders of SSFA is such kind. They were always there to help us to execute our plans in a fruitful manner. Their tremendous support and encouragements make this conference and symposium happen today. I like this privilege to welcome Professor S. Bhargava sir, University of Mysore, President of SSFA, and Professor M. A. Pathan sir, Center for Mathematical and Statistical Science, Kerala, and Aligarh Muslim University, General Secretary of SSFA, to this inaugural ceremony of ICSFA and Symposium. I am pleased to welcome our guest of honor, Professor Michel Waldschmidt from Sorbonne University, France, one of the very renowned excellent researcher globally in the field of special function and number theory. Also, I welcome other guest of honor, Professor Ayman Badawi, American University of Sharjah. He is a well-known mathematician whose research works are very remarkable in the field of algebra and other related areas. So in this joyful moment, of behalf of ICSF and Pondicherry University, I welcome you both of sir. I welcome Professor Rajeshwari Seshadri, Dean of Ramanujan School of Mathematical Science, Pondicherry University, for her accompanying in all stages of hosting this conference. I welcome her wholeheartedly to this ICSFA and Symposium, ma'am. I am happy to welcome the Director of DD, Dr. Arvind Gupta sir, to this ICSFA and Symposium. His immediate response and ceaseless support in every step of these events made this journey very smooth and strong. I welcome you, sir. I am very much glad to see I am delighted to welcome Professor A. Joseph Kennedy, Head of the Department of Mathematics, to the SSFA Conference Symposium. His valuable presence in this great event is such a beautiful gesture that we have received. He has been support behind all the events and arrangements. I heartily welcome you, sir. I am very much glad to see such an energetic, enthusiastic young researchers from all over the country. It is so happy to see there are so many bright faces in one place. It is such a great honor to have you all here in our Pondicherry University. I welcome all the international delegates coming from France, USA, Canada, Jordan, and I welcome all the delegates coming from all over India to Pondicherry University for this conference and symposium. The Pondicherry is one of the most popular tourist places. Here you can experience the richness of our culture and custom. Try to visit some famous spots in Pondicherry. Try to enjoy the street foods and explore more besides the studies or scheduled time of the conference. So I again welcome all the national and international delegates to the conference and symposium. I cordially welcome all the faculty members, non-teaching staff, especially to our research scholars team, students of the Department of Mathematics, Directorate of Distance Education, other departments who are present here from Pondicherry University. I also welcome the media people from Pondicherry University and around. Your presence in this conference has added colors to this event. Finally, I welcome each and every one of you to the ICSFA meeting as a conference and symposium. Have a memorable and joyous experience here. Jai Hind.
We stand on the brink of a remarkable journey, the one that we will embark upon together, filled with learning, experience and enlightenment. It is traditional and symbolic to start such a journey with the lighting of a lamp. Just as light removes darkness, knowledge removes ignorance. And so, contemplating this metaphorical illumination, I am delighted to invite the dignitaries to light the lamp. From home is the perception of welcoming someone special. We don't possess adequate hospitality to bestow our love, but we have a set of aesthetic principles. With that adorability, may I request to greet our guest with shawl, memento and bouquet. Are gifts that can be opened again and again. I am pleased to request the esteemed dignitaries on the dais to unveil the book of abstracts of the conference.
Good morning, friends. I extend a very warm welcome to all of you to this very important conference, which is International Conference on Special Functions and Applications, and a Symposium on Algebra and Algebraic Combinations, which is being organized jointly by our Department of Mathematics and Directorate of Distance Education of our university. And I can see here there are many stalwarts who have come from all over the country, not only country, from elsewhere as well. I've always been highlighting that mathematics is one of the very important subjects which hasn't gained the kind of importance that we expected this to be. Probably one of the reasons that I will attribute this to is that right from the day one, when a child goes to school, the parents would dissuade a person from studying from maths. A student will also come and tell that this is something I don't like, my teacher scolds me, and this is something which is not very easy. And what I have seen over the years, by the time one reaches 6th or 7th or 8th standard, one gets a kind of an aversion that this is a very difficult subject, it is beyond me, therefore I better move away from this. And the parents will also say, well, you go to literature, go to this, go to that. And this is how mathematics gets receded into lesser and lesser importance, gets lower priorities in subjects all over, whether it is school, colleges, universities, or elsewhere, the societies and the institutes of mathematics. But as I said, mathematics is one of the, I will not say one of the most important subjects, I will say it is the most important subject. You look at it, I do not know how many have Googled this data or how many of you have known. A person who is very good at mathematics, I'm emphasizing, and I've said it umpteen number of times elsewhere as well, that a person who is very good at maths is very good in all subjects. A person who is very thorough there would automatically will have the habit to excel in probably everything, be it language or anything, music, sports, you name, you will find that that's a fact. Now, as I said, I do not know how many of you have really researched on this, but if you do that, you will find some of the brilliant minds in all subjects, particularly biology, let me tell you. This is something where we have developed a notion that biologists are the ones who run away from maths. And in our own student days also we have seen somebody who would be doing mathematics would never come near bio subjects, and somebody who would be in the bio will never come near maths. Whereas if there is a gelling of these two, that person turned out to be an excellent one. As I said, I will not have the time to get into the details. You look at the Nobel laureates, the biologists, anybody who has been excelling. If you look at the kind of chronology the person had come through, he would be very good in maths, let me tell you, at some stage or the other, and he would have studied that in all sincerity. Then come down to the other side of it, look at the number of politicians we have all over the world, not in my country, I'm talking about all over. Some of the best politicians have had mathematics as one of the subjects in their earlier days, and they ultimately did very well. Some of those who predict about polls, statistics and everything obviously would have mathematics as a subject. But as I said, this is some kind of a subject which somehow hasn't been given the kind of importance that it rightly deserves. You look at the money being allotted, this is also on the web, money being allotted for research projects. Look at the money being given to physical sciences, biological sciences, and then finally mathematical sciences. You will be surprised the amount given is not even 40% of what is being given to the other subjects. So therefore we need to look at it. We need to encourage our young minds who are sitting here, I can see up to number here, to get into mathematics, which is a remarkable subject. In my own family, of course, I will not have the, again, occasion to tell you, those who are very good in maths, including my better half, they have excelled in their career. And those who are running away from it, I will say the less is the better. Therefore, I urge my young minds who are here that take this subject in all sincerity, work hard, and if you follow it, what I'm saying, you will find sky will not be the limit in your career. How do we do it? Well, one of the best ways is to interact with the brilliant minds. Where do we get these brilliant minds? It is through these conferences. Now, these kind of conferences also are very rare. You go to any university, go to any college, you will have a conference on music, you will have conference on language, conference on physical sciences, but rarely a conference on maths is organized. Pick up the data of, I'm challenging any university, any college, anywhere, the least number of conferences would be organized in mathematical sciences. So we need to give right kind of encouragement in this subject. And I am very happy that my own department here is becoming a very vibrant department in mathematics, which is the need of the hour. And they are giving right kind of encouragement to the young minds. Ever since I have joined, practically in a year, we have been organizing about 4 to 5 conferences, which is a very encouraging sign. This year itself, we had a major international conference few weeks back, and now it is second in the series, and more will come. So therefore, I am really very happy. I am particularly happy to welcome Professor M.A. Pathan, who is the General Secretary of this society, which has come forward in a very generous manner to help this. Professor Michael, Professor Ayman, and Professor Bhargav, above all, who is the president of this society. When these stalwarts, you will call them old-timers, let me tell you. I will not. I will not, because they are the ones who have wriggled their way through very difficult times. The funds were not enough. Now you apply for a project, you get enough funds to work on. During their time, they struggled, let me tell you. They would travel, if you agree with me, sometimes in third class in railways, in useless junky buses, and they will go to reach far-flung areas of our country to address the young mind, to address the students, to attend committees. And it is through hard work of such people that our science has developed to a level where worldwide we are considered as leaders in mathematics. Go anywhere, you will find, they will say, well, Indians are doing very well in mathematics. Indians are very good. Indians are very nice. They organize very good functions. So you will all agree with me. Go to any society, any meeting, anywhere else, you will find that we are viewed with a fair bit of respect in this area. And this has not come out as a charity. It has come out through the hard work of our old stalwarts who have been sitting here, who have put in their heart and soul into this. So we need to appreciate all this. And I would particularly encourage our own mathematics department to come forward, to continue doing what they are doing in terms of furthering the cause of development of mathematical sciences in our country. And it is through these endeavors, let me tell you, our young minds will be encouraged to do that. Finally, a word about our young, brilliant minds who are sitting here, the future mathematicians, the future developer of this science, and advise to them that during this conference, you will hear a lot of good lectures. People have come from all over. You will listen to them, you will see their style, you will see how good they are. But after that, put enough questions to them. Trigger enough questioning, and during lunches and teas, don't allow them to relax and enjoy their meals. Disturb them as much as you can. Put your doubts, put your questions, tell them what you're doing, what are your research problems, where you can excel, which side you can debate this problem to. And it is through these interactions with these brilliant minds that you will be able to chalk your course through in a wonderful, desirable way, so that you will ultimately be doing very well. So therefore, my best compliments to our young minds, particularly Dr. Rakesh, who has joined us recently, and in that short span, he's organized a number of meetings, which goes to his credit. Otherwise, one could have said, well, I have joined the way others are doing, I'll also do that. So therefore, I appreciate this effort, and his efforts would have got fructified only when the department as a whole would have backed him up. So my best appreciations for the mathematics department for doing such a good work, with a hope that they will not end here, they will continue to do their best. Some of you might be thinking, what has distance education got to do with this? As I said, this particular subject requires better encouragement, and in most of our universities in our country, though mathematics is a subject, but as I said, it's a neglected one. They will have English, this, that, and finally lower down the rung would be mathematics. So in distance education also, if this subject is encouraged, so in university, if it goes to 20 by number, through distance education it will reach 80 in terms of volume. So that is also required, and that is one of the reasons that when I called the director of distance education, Dr. Arvind, that you need to cooperate, he immediately agreed. He said, sir, we have enough mathematical students here, so we should also be allowed to join hands so that our students through this mode would also know that this subject is given equal importance for them also, not only for the regular students. So therefore, I am really delighted, let me tell you, that this kind of event has been made possible. I would hope that you will have more such meetings, more such conferences, more workshops on maths, so that the subject grows in the direction in which we expect that to be. A country which is strong in mathematics and statistics, let me tell you, if the data is projected rightly, if the data is analyzed properly, the country will never falter on their way of growth. The problem comes when we fail and we don't analyze it properly, that what is our need in future and what is it that we need to do to rectify or to correct our course. We will not be able to do that. And it is through this you would be able to do it. And finally, the supporting part, I'm just reversing what you would have thought about and what you would have read in the newspapers. The supporting part, when they analyze and they look at it, the data of a couple of decades and present one, when they analyze, it is supported, I'm again saying, by economists. Economists would never be able to analyze unless you present what is there, and that is done by mathematicians. And this, earlier on, mathematics and statistics was one department, now they have separated because we realized later that these are the ones which require more attention. So therefore, when you read newspapers, articles, listen to talks, people would say economists are the ones who are needed. Economists will not be able to do what they are doing unless they are backed up by our science here. So therefore, mathematics, statistics and economics, they have to go hand in hand if they have to project the right course for any country's growth. And that's what we have been able to do it. We have done the correction and we are doing very well because of the facts that I mentioned. So I appreciate that this has been organized and I wish the symposium a wonderful success with the hope that all of you who are here would continue to support our endeavors in future also. Finally, a last word. You have come to a city which is called Pondicherry. I do not know how many of you have visited this earlier. It's a city which is very rejuvenating, very positive, very spiritual. All three come in one unit. The moment you enter into the boundaries of this city, I do not know, you would realize this, that some kind of an extra strength is driven into you yourself. Some kind of a sense of extra energy comes in that, well, this is one place where we have to do. And that gives strength to our city. Anybody who comes here enjoys doing work. So you are in a place for whatever number of days, 3, 4 days, 5 days that you will be spending here. Make best use of your time and enjoy the rejuvenation. People pay for it, but you're getting a chance, and enjoy the energy, positive energy that you have, and the spirituality at the same time. All put together is what makes Pondicherry a great city. So enjoy your stay here, and I wish the symposium a grand success, best success, and God bless all of you for future success.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Gurmeet Singh, dignitaries honored of the dais, on behalf of the Society of Special Functions and Applications, and on my own personal behalf, I heartily welcome you all for this annual conference of the Society. At the outset, I wish to thank immensely the authorities of this esteemed university, teachers, students, and administrative staff, particularly of the Department of Mathematics and Ramanujan School of Mathematics, for all the hard work they have put in carrying out all the logistics to perfection while hosting this conference. I do realize the various kinds of difficulties faced by the host institution in accomplishing the noble act of hosting, from fundraising to shouldering different academic and administrative responsibilities. I also wish to express my gratitude to the office bearers of the ICSFA and members of the executive committee of the ICSFA for doing their part in realizing the success of the conference, starting from identifying an institution of standing such as Pondicherry University, the authorities, the Vice Chancellor, and the members of which are more than willing to throw all their available resources in achieving the success of the international conference. Most of us know that the Society for Special Functions and their Applications, founded in 1998, 25 years ago exactly, I should say, is the brainchild of legendary mathematician Professor R.P. Agarwal. Gladly, some of us who are fortunate enough to be with him in this historical event are among the audience today. Professor Agarwal, Professor Patan, many of us here. Professor Agarwal, R.P. Agarwal, worked and published extensively in analysis, especially in special functions, culminating in his 3-volume magnum opus titled Resonance of Ramanujan. I was lucky to be asked by him to contribute a chapter, which I very gladly did, to his magnum opus. He was one of the first few mathematicians who worked and guided students on Mach theta functions, known to be the last and hardest topic Ramanujan discovered in a sick bed. Scores of individuals have benefited from Professor Agarwal as his co-authors or doctoral students or as followers of his research work. He was also an able administrator and held the august office of Vice Chancellor of 2 universities successively, University of Lucknow and University of Rajasthan. Why was Professor Agarwal so fond of special functions as to found a society for that field and for posterity? Special functions have been used for centuries because of their remarkable properties. For example, trigonometric functions, once called one of the elementary functions, have been studied for over 1,000 years because they have numerous applications in astronomy. Andrews and Askey, the very experts in the subject, say, giving due credit to Indians, that even the series expansion of sine and cosine and probably the arctangent were known to Madhava of the 14th century. Most of us know that Madhava belonged to Sangama Grama of neighboring state of Kerala and that he founded the famous Kerala School of Astronomy and Mathematics. Interestingly, these series of Madhava for sine and cosine were rediscovered by Newton and Leibniz 3 centuries later. Since then, the subject of special functions has been continuously developed with contributions by a host of mathematicians, including the famous Euler, Legendre, Laplace, Gauss, Kumar, Eisenstein, Riemann, and Ramanujan. And further, since then, new special functions and their applications to new areas of mathematics have initiated a resurgence of interest in this field. As far as I know, no attempt seems to have been made to define the term special functions, even by Andrews and Askey, but instead they consider the subject as one that's being constantly augmented and developed from time to time. Well, I no longer trust my memory, so I've written down few things I want to say. Typically, like in the times of Madhava or Newton, and as narrated by famous physicist Berry, M. Berry, newer and newer special functions are being introduced since then and studied as a need for applications, and also, on the other hand, as in the case of Leibniz, new functions are being invented and studied unmindful of their applications, present or future, within or outside mathematics. Special functions typically arise as a class of functions that solve various classical problems in such areas as electromagnetism, acoustics, heat transfer, elasticity, signal processing, seismology, etc. Different representations have to be sought of these solutions depending on the configuration of the physical system for which these problems are to be solved. For example, in studying propagation of heat in a metallic bar, one could consider a bar with a rectangular cross-section or a round cross-section or an elliptical cross-section, or even more complicated cross-sections. The bar might be straight or curved. Every one of these situations, while dealing with the same type of problem, physical problem, leads to somewhat different mathematical equations. The physicists, on their part, reduce the problems of heat transfer or wave propagation, for example, in 3 dimensions, into problems of solving certain 3-dimensional partial differential equations, which are usually hard to solve. Mathematicians reduce such an equation to a system of ordinary differential equation through a process known as separation of variables. These ordinary differential equations depend on the choice of the coordinate system, which in turn is influenced by physical configuration of the problem. The solutions of these ordinary differential equations form the majority of the special functions of mathematical physics. For example, in solving the equations of heat flow or wave propagation in cylindrical coordinates, the method of separation of variables leads to Bessel functions, and which in turn leads to Bessel function. Among the many other special functions that satisfy second-order differential equation are the spherical harmonics, of which Legendre polynomials are special cases, Chebyshev polynomials, the Hermite polynomials, the Jacobi polynomials, the Laguerre polynomials, and so on. One can study their infinite series, recursion formulae, generating functions, asymptotic series, integral representations, and other properties such as orthogonality, which takes us to orthogonal functions in general. Attempts have been made to unify this rich topic. As I said before, not one has been completely successful. In spite of the similarities of these functions, each has some unique properties that must be studied separately. But some relationships can be developed by introducing yet another special function, the hypergeometric function, which satisfies a second-order differential equation. Some of these special functions can be expressed in terms of the hypergeometric function. While it is true, both historically and practically, that the special functions and their applications arise primarily in mathematical physics, they do have many other uses in both pure and applied mathematics. For example, Bessel functions are useful in solving certain types of random walk problems. They also find application in the theory of numbers. The hypergeometric functions are useful in constructing so-called conformal mappings of polygonal regions whose sides are circular arcs. So these are only some of the examples. And some of the functions invented after the trigonometric functions of Euler are the exponential function of Napier, elliptic functions of Jacobi, Weierstrass, and Ramanujan, spherical harmonics, Bessel functions, orthogonal polynomials, functions and generalized and basic hypergeometric functions, special functions arising from difference equations, modular forms, theta functions of Jacobi and Ramanujan, special functions of matrices, Mach theta forms of Ramanujan, just to mention a few. It is worth mentioning that one of the most recent works related to Ramanujan's Mach theta forms, as I know, is by Genki Shibukawa and Satoshi Tsuchimi, who relate S.P. Zweger's mu function to a certain difference equation due to Hermite and Weber. I can go on and on for hours about special functions and their uses. I think I can stop here and more in my next talk. Thank you for your patient hearing and wishing the participants a very useful time in this beautiful city of Pondicherry. Thank you very much. And also I wish to thank finally the Vice Chancellor for your nice words about mathematicians and mathematics. Thank you very much.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, other dignitaries on the dais, members of the society, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It's a matter of pleasure that this 22nd annual conference of the society is being held at this prestigious university. We are all profoundly grateful to the authorities of the institution for their kind invitation to host this conference. We are also grateful to the faculty members of Department of Mathematics. Theory of special function has been an active area of research in our country, and it is continued to make progress after the emergence of the original work of late Srinivasa Ramanujan, the great mathematician of India. This is an exciting mathematical area whose development intersects with classical and modern subjects at many points. The Society for Special Functions has been trying hard for the development of the teaching and research in mathematics in general and special function, number theory and graph theory in particular. This has been achieved by organizing conferences, workshops, seminars at different places. The Society also publishes proceeding of the annual conferences, and we are also planning a journal for this SSFA this time. SSFA is the only society which exclusively caters. So SSFA is the only society which exclusively caters and coordinates the research work in this field, not only here, but we are connected with the global researchers in the subject. Way back in 1997, during a conference at Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, a handful of teachers and researchers proposed the formation of a society, and subsequently with just a small number of founding members, all hungry for the achievement in SSFA, the society was born. With the basic organization structure, the work of planning SSFA began in the year 2000. The contributions to 22nd annual conference, that means this conference of 2023, will touch on several topics of special functions, number theory, and orthogonal polynomials delivered by invited speakers and contributed papers from India and abroad. The memorial lectures were arranged time to time, and the memorial lecture first in the name of Professor R.P. Agarwal was delivered in 2018, and after that every year we are having this conference in the name of Professor R.P. Agarwal, a symposium. All those symposiums and conferences were having R.P. Agarwal memorial lectures by Bruce Bond from the USA, Sean Cooper from New Zealand. They also honored last time to deliver this memorial lecture. We are equally grateful to Professor A.K. Agarwal for his presence to deliver this time R.P. Agarwal memorial lecture. Remember that second memorial lecture was delivered by his supervisor and mentor, Professor H.L. Manocha from New York, USA. SSFA would have been successfully had it not been for the efforts of the members of the society and leaders like Professor R.P. Agarwal, N.K. Thakre, Professor H.L. Manocha, and Bhargava, who had planned everything for this society for the development, and we are now honored that Professor Ward Smith and Eli Tobe is here with us for this conference. A number of delegates from all over the country and abroad are attending this conference. Invited speakers and research papers will be presented. Proceeding of the last many conferences may serve the purpose of this classical and modern mathematics in India. We have taken the first step, and in this venture, the first steps are particularly difficult. It is not a dream. It is not even a mere vision. It is a mission that we are following and take up to succeed in this during this conference. Thank you.
Michel Goldsmith is a world-renowned mathematician whose research has had a profound impact on number theory. He is considered the father of the great French school of transcendental number theory, has over 70 scientific descendants. His work has often been applauded by various national and international organizations. Most notably, he has been awarded the Albert Charlotte Medal, the CNRS Silver Medal, and the French Academy of Science Margaret Prize. He has also been named a Fellow of the Robert Brosh Foundation at Princeton University's Institute of Advanced Study, and most recently was named an Honorary Fellow of the Hardy Ramanujana Society. He is the author of over 160 publications, including 10 books. His impressive ability to pass on his knowledge and his desire for achievement in all fields are sure to inspire our most recent graduates. I am delighted to request Michael Goldsmith to share a few words.
Thank you. So, thank you very much for this nice introduction. Let me first tell you that I am very pleased to be here with you. I was last week in the Kerala School of Mathematics for a conference on the class groups and number fields, and it was organized by Kalyan Chakraborty, Azizul Hoke, and Akhilesh, and also Ananta Gulbe was participating to this conference. Just the day after the conference, we had a meeting with some students, and we discussed with them, and they asked some questions. One of the questions was, what is the use of the sine and cosine functions? And, well, I gave an answer, and in fact, the talk which was given just now by Professor Bhargava gives a full answer, which I just gave a small amount of elements on this with astronomers, with the School of Madhava in just the Kerala School of Mathematics of the 15th and 16th century, so long back, and before it was developed in the West with Newton and Leibniz. So it's one basic example of special functions. And special function is a very good example of a topic which shows the unity of mathematics. As it was said by Professor Bhargava, special functions arise very often from physics. They occur from differential equation when we solve differential equation. They have some connection with geometry. For example, it was the case in astronomy. They are interesting also for people working in number theory, as it is my case. And they occur they involve some algebra. Some linear algebra is absolutely necessary. So special functions are ubiquitous, and it is very good that there is a society which is devoted precisely to this topic. I was fortunate to participate to this is my sixth times that I participate to this annual conference on special functions. The first one was in 2016 when I gave the R.P. Agrawal Memorial Lecture. It was in Jamia Islamia University. And in 2018, so that was in 2016. And in 2018, I participated to a conference which was important for me. It was in Kanjirapalli, in Kottayam, in Kerala, and I attended a lecture which was given by Professor M.A. Patan, and he spoke on Lidstone polynomials, which is a topic which I did not know. And during the next few years, I was working mainly on this topic. So I learned it from Professor Patan, and this was my main interest during several years. And I say that especially for the students who are here. When you attend a conference, even if you do not expect that it is closely related to your interest, it's important to listen, and you may gain some input from the lecture that you attend, even if you do not expect that it will be like this. I also participated on the online conference which was given in 2021 by the University of Kerala. And last year I was in Mysore, and I met several of you who told me that we met already last year in Mysore. We are in Pondicherry, and I have close contact with the University of Pondicherry. I came many times here. I came when Professor Jyotilingam was head of the mathematics department. And for some of you who know this university, I would like to say a few names of mathematicians that I visited quite often here in Pondicherry. Tamis Mani, AMS Ramaswamy, that he invited me in NIIT University in Imrana. And there was also Muruganandam, who went to Bhubaneswar, and I met him after that in Bhubaneswar. And there were several other mathematicians. Patil also was the head of the department for some time. I have also some connection with students of mine. For example, Sinu David is not a student of mine, but he's a student of mine, so he's the grandson. He's from Pondicherry. He's right now in Pondicherry, but he's a professor, a distinguished professor in my university, and we share the same office. And there is also another student who was working with me, Faustin Adisseam, who get his master with me, and he's from Pondicherry. So I have some very strong connection with the University of Pondicherry. So I wish to congratulate the organizers of this conference, the one from the Society of Special Functions, who do it every year, and this conference has some success. As you see, it attracts a number of mathematicians. And also I want to congratulate the members of the Pondicherry University who host this conference. I am very thankful to them that they invite us. So I wish all of you a very successful conference. Thank you.
First, thank you for having me here. I visited India so many times, I stopped counting. Before Corona, I used to visit India like 3, 4, 5, 6 times in a year. And in fact, one time I made a joke. I told them, you know, maybe very soon I will get an Indian citizenship. So it's good to be here, but I never been in this city before. This is my first time in this city here and at this university. And thank you, Asir, for inviting me here. And I wish you all a wonderful conference. And I'm not prepared here. You surprised me that I need to give a talk. So thank you very much, and all the best. Thanks.
Respected Vice Chancellor, honorable learned members on the dais, my dear faculties, friends, colleagues and students, a very warm welcome to one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all for this conference organized on behalf of the Society for Special Functions and their applications. And this conference is also conducted in parallel with the Symposium on Algebra and Algebraic Combinatorics. And it is a great pleasure for us as the Department of Mathematics, with the help of the Directorate of Distance Education and Pondicherry University's support, we are able to hold this international conference. So I wish the conference a very grand success. We are all waiting for brainstorming technical sessions now, so I wouldn't take much of your time. I just want to say one very interesting anecdote when I recall when I was sitting here. It was because during my first year of MSc, when I was doing a differential equations course, so we were introduced to the special functions, sir. So when that is the first time I heard about the special functions. So some differential equations, when it doesn't have a direct solution or exact solutions, the results, if it satisfies some nice properties, we can term it as the special functions and work on the solutions and properties of the special functions. So I would like to recall here that it was a special function that brought me into the the research side of the mathematics, my interest and passion towards the mathematics. So that's why I'm here. So I have a very special interest and liking towards the special functions. Though it is closely connected to the differential equations, which is my field of specialization. So I'm very happy to be here participating in this conference. So I wish the conference a very grand success. I take this opportunity to congratulate all the organizers of this conference for this wonderful arrangements. Thank you so much.
A very good morning to one and all present here. First of all, we thank our Vice Chancellor for the support for this conference. And actually, due to Corona, there are many conferences postponed earlier. So all come to alive now. So within last 5 months, this is our third international conference by the Mathematics Department. So thank you. And during the approval meeting, department approval meeting, we thought that there will be some financial problems, and on the hope of confidence of Dr. Parmar, we have proceeded the conference further. And so actually I congratulate Dr. Parmar for successfully make it possible. And in this connection, we thank the Director, Department of Distance Education, Pondicherry University, to join with their hands with us to make it possible. Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Gupta, our TD Director. And further, using this conference, our Dr. Azir arranged one symposium for our MSc students. Compared with conference, so our MSc students, it is very good for, symposiums are very good for our MSc students. So it is also arranged for 2 days. So I request all the MSc students to attend seriously in the symposium. And I thank all the speakers of this function. And I thank all the speakers of the conference and participants. I thank all my colleagues for support. Thank you very much for all of you. Thank you. Thank you.